And welcome to Neverwinter with Aragon. So with Module 23, we'll be getting a new Master Trial, Master Tiamat. And if you manage to go and beat this trial with defeating the goddess Tiamat, you'll be able to go and get your chests. One of them will just need a skeleton key. Pretty neat. And you can reroll your rewards with the new system only twice. And you can see we can get the new artifact there, the Tiamat's Globe. And we can also reroll the next chest. And we can get some new dye. It's a legendary dye bottle, and we'll showcase that a little bit later as well. I'll also go over a list of all the new dyes that are going to be available to us. There are indeed 7 new ones total, but what I'm most interested in is this new artifact set, and you can see I have it right here. And if you zoom in on the tooltip, you can see it's mainly targeted at tanks. It's going to have the ability of Draconic Resilience, and with that you'll reduce your incoming damage by 8% and gain 8% critical avoidance, only for 10 seconds and only whenever your stamina drops below 15%. And for us tanks, we're going to have a stamina bar like this one here. It's our guard, and we have, you can see right now, 100 out of 100. So in order to benefit from this set at all, you have to get this down to 15 out of 100, and then you gain that defensive boost from this Draconic Resilience. Overall, the set looks okay. It doesn't seem to be like the best out there with regards to survivability. You may want to look at something like the Diamond set. We equip all the pieces there, and it gives us Dashing Decoy. Whenever we stand still for 3 seconds, we take 5% less damage, and our awareness is increased by 5%, and our threat generation is increased by 10%. I'm going to ignore the threat generation, as most tanks won't need to worry about that too much, and 10% is next to nothing. So you're essentially gaining constant, reliable source of, you can see, Dashing Decoy, and it will always remain in effect. Whereas this new set, unfortunately, as you've seen, only lasts us that 10 seconds, and you only gain the benefit once your shield has drained. So overall, will I run this set? Well, let's go in combat and I'll showcase exactly how it's going to work for us. But before we do that, you may have seen this set before, and it was on its first iteration giving 8% power instead of the critical avoidance it now gives, meaning it's solely directed at tanks, or at least for survivability gains, whereas beforehand you could use it for either extra aggro with 8% power, or you could use it on a healer or on a DPS. In a fight like Tower of the Mad Mage, when you just have to stand there and tank a massive hit, and that hit could potentially one-shot you, then I think the Diamond set is better, where you stand still for 3 seconds. You can see this set here, we got our shield down below that 15, and it procs. You can see that up here, Draconic Resilience, and it only lasts us 10 seconds, and then it's going to be gone. And if we keep blocking here, the neat benefit is it will proc back again in 10 seconds, which means at its maximum, you only have a 50-50 uptime. You can see it's procced again for us, and that gives us that damage resistance and that critical avoidance. And as a paladin, at least on my tank build, I don't generally stack much critical avoidance at all. I'm generally focusing on first defense, awareness, and then deflect and deflect severity. And with that, then critical avoidance allows me to make full use of this set because I don't have that capped anyway. And so yeah, the set itself isn't like the best for survivability. I would deem the other set as better, the Diamond set. But if we look at the item level gain as well, you're gaining a pretty massive boost, because if you look at like the neck, it's 1,800, same with the waist, and then the artifact is 1,200. Whereas if you were to use the Diamond set, you can see the artifact's only 600, and the neck and waist pieces, they're only 1,000. So you're gaining a 2,400 item level boost, which for us tanks at a modifier of 20% extra hit points based on item level is an extra 28,000 hit points. And then you can multiply that again by like constitution and so on. But you'll see what I mean. And it's a set I would generally run around with. Again, just casual content. Anything that's going to require you to block a bit, you can run around, then it at least gives you the mobility option, and a set that's going to at least give you somewhat of a decent bonus with that as well. You do have in competition with it this new set as well. Actually, we can slot in the artifact to go with that, the Blue Dragon's Marc, And you can see this set would give us just that there. Whenever you're using encounter power, you gain a stack of Vanguard's Alacrity, and that would gain 2.5% awareness and 5% deflex severity. It's very good, and just through the stat gain alone, you could consider that set being the best. It's just not as easy to, let's say, activate. You're going to be casting encounter powers every now and again. The problem I have with the set is it's only 5-second uptime. Right now I'll have to do some further testing. Paladins do have the benefit of being able to spam encounter powers a bit more than other classes, but even then cooldowns are pretty lengthy, as you can see there. And with only a 5-second uptime, sure, you could get all those stacks procced off before you take a big hit by using a series of encounters, and that could then end up being meta. But we'll have to see, and in my opinion the set is pretty neat how it is. I have been in discussion with the devs on it, and I suggest you guys do it too if you're not overly happy with it and you think it could be better than it is. I don't believe they will do any major reworks on how the set works. Any insightful feedback, feel free to post that on the forums about it. And lastly, of course, we do get a new artifact with it, and it's a little bit odd, but it can be very useful. It gives you the ability to pretty much instantly gain 75% of your stamina. You can see the tooltip there. You'll unleash a fearsome roar that ignites your fighting spirit, restoring 75 stamina. And again, as a tank, we have our shield bar here, and that goes up to a maximum of 100. So they've broken our shield here. We'll let it drain a bit more. We use the artifact and we roar and instantly gain back the stamina. So it's pretty neat for an emergency artifact. Let's say you're going to be taking a big hit and your stamina's out. Then you could pop the artifact and ta-da, you get that stamina back. I just feel it isn't much of an impact compared to other artifacts, and so I don't really feel it's going to be used that often. It's got a niche ability and newer tanks might run around with it, but I just don't see it being very good in competition with, let's say, just running things that are going to give you an extra survivability boost. If you need to tank a big hit and you're good at keeping your stamina full for those big hits, then like something like Gon's Anvil of Creation giving 15% extra shield could be better, or just your Forge Hammers of Gond giving you the 20% extra damage resistance, and it actually only has a 45-second cooldown, whereas all other artifacts are 60 seconds. And so those of you who are interested in that dye pack, let's have a quick look. Again, we got that to drop just in the chest here. You can see bottle of Lulu's lovely light lemon dye. We switch to the character I achieved it on, and we can see that bottle just here. And if we go in, look in our, let's say, appearance library with all of our colors, and there we go. We have Lulu's lovely light lemon. So they have added extra dyes to the color library. That's very interesting. And if we go and convert this to our appearance item, we can see it unlocks for us, and we can potentially go and change up some of the colors. Let's say we make this a yellow color. You can see that there. So it makes kind of like a golden color, but it will be entirely different depending on what gear you're running with. If we have that tinge on our gear here, I don't see it as good as what I had before with the white. And when we go and compare, let's say, my color library, this being on preview server of module 23, to what we have on the live server, you can see there's a good few that I am missing. Here on the live server, I'm missing 10, and on the preview server module 23, I'm missing 17. And here you can see I'm missing 7 new dyes, and this is all the names for them. If you'd like me to go over how you can get those and the actual look and colors of them, I can do so in another video. These things are going to be very limited, as the drop rates are going to be quite small, so they could be selling for quite a lot. And yes, indeed, that bottle was sellable. Same with that new artifact set, the Tiamat one. It's all going to be sellable. You'll be able to buy it off the auction house, and you won't have to upgrade it. The only thing you have to upgrade is the artifact throughout its ranks. And we can see the rest of those dragon artifacts as well. You'll be able to get those from Dragon Hunts, and they'll be all 1200 item level. Overall, hopefully this was somewhat insightful to you guys with what's coming with module 23. Again, we don't know exactly when Master Tiamat will be released, most likely with the new module launch, and we shouldn't have to do any campaign to unlock it, but we shall see. They could well be releasing them at later stages, and I've heard rumors they kind of want to do it staggered, with the normal version releasing first for a short while and then pushing out the master later. Overall, really happy to see some big updates to the loot. We are getting much better drop rates within master trials, but again, we're going to have to go and farm a bunch of those to actually see if it's a noticeable difference. With that said, if it was as well, consider leaving the video a like, and if you're new around here, consider subscribing. We'll see you guys around. Goodbye for now.